Welcome. My name is Al Rodenburg, and this is a new series of video podcasts introducing entrepreneurs and business owners from all over the world. Today, I'll be visiting with William Eddy Schedule. Did I pronounce the last name correctly?
Yes, spell checks and everything. So,
Okay, I just want to make sure because it looks like the word schedule. Okay,
yes.
awesome. So here's a little bit about Eddy. He is a retired Navy chief with service that includes shore and ship-based deployments around the world and over 30 years of professional experience in leadership and professional development coaching. Since leaving the military, Chief has coached and led people development projects in numerous industries, including global supply chain manufacturing, online gaming servers, corporate university management, petrochemical, healthcare operations, aerospace, NASA space training programs. He has led global training and competency projects for major corporations, which include Marathon Oil, BP, Chevron, Kuwaiti Oil Company, Delta Subsea, Schwan's global supply chain, and many other Fortune 500s. During his 20 years of military service, he led Navy deployed teams during Operation Desert Storm, Operation Desert Shield, Operation Enduring Freedom, and Operation Iraqi Freedom. He maintains a current Master Training Specialist certification for the Department of Defense and has taught and facilitated workshops in 20 different countries around the world. Quote, since my military days of training young sailors for battle, and now with my work in the corporate world, my passion continues to grow for helping others succeed in both the professional world and their own personal development. Wow. That's quite a resume. Are you like 150 years old or?
Pretty much. So, yeah,
Okay.
more like 100 and 149. But yeah.
Oh, okay. You've done a lot, man. Wow.
Well, yeah, I can't complain. I mean, I've been all over the world, so it's been nice. So,
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think the people that you work with should be very happy that you had the experience to help them. Um, so, this is basically a getting to know you time. And how would your friends and family describe you?
they would say I'm pretty outgoing, and I think one of my sons the other day, he's like, "You're really action. You're a go-getter. You're an action-oriented type person." And
Mhm.
the thing that I always encourage them, and it's over here on my part of our core values for easy leadership, is dream. Never stop pursuing your dreams. And I think that is something that I always say, yeah, I'm maybe 57 years old, but I'm still a 12-year-old in the way I imagine the world. I look at the good part of the world, and I look at it doesn't matter where you're at in your life, you can still have a dream and still go after it. And I think they they would definitely describe me as the 12-year-old from time to time. So
That's awesome. I mean, I'll be 71 this month, and I still dream. I still have goals too. So that's amazing, and I commend you on having that perspective because I don't meet too many people that do, and that's great. Whereabouts are you from, Eddy? Where'd you grow up?
I originally grew up in Dallas,
Oh,
and
wow. Okay.
yeah, graduated high school there, and then didn't really go very far. I mean, the furthest I had been to was to Florida with my mom. She would load us up with a little orange tent and take us on camping trips, and she managed to take us to Disney World one year. We did that. But it wasn't until I got on a plane for the very first time going to boot camp in the Navy that I actually flew and left the state of Texas for pretty much the next 15 years of my life after that. I went to boot camp in San Diego and ended up stationed there and stayed there for 15 years.
Wow. Wow. So, did you ever think that when you were a kid, when you were a child, that you would be doing what you're doing now? Did, what did you think about those kind of things?
No, I mean, when I was a kid, um, first off, I didn't know what I wanted to do. And that's actually sparked a lot of what we do with TC Leadership Helping High School Student is I always look at when I was 18, 19 years old, I got married right out of high school, thinking that was how life was supposed to be. You get married, you have kids, all that stuff. But I was always probably two steps ahead of where I should have been in thinking about goals and things. So
Mhm.
um, I never really knew what I wanted to do. I was in a band when I was 19 years old. I kind of thought that's where I would end up, being a singer in front of a um, leading a band. But then I joined the Navy, grew up a little bit, and really found that I loved helping others and coaching others. And football coach was always something that I thought I might do. Um, but never really imagined that I would be where I'm at today, just coaching people and helping them get better. Because I think when I was young, it was more focused on me and not really focused on others as it should have been. And the older I got, the more I realized that focusing on helping others, you get a better
Mhm.
feeling of
Right.
helping others achieve things. So,
That's
kind of a
awesome.
long answer, but
No, that's okay. Um, you mentioned high school students. Tell us a little bit about how you help high school students.
yeah, what we do for high school students is, first off, one of the things that we use the Berkman, which is a personality assessment. Now, it's been used in business for many years, but one big piece of it is a career explorer. And what the
Mm.
Berkman does, it looks at 9 different components of personality, and it looks at 12 different areas of interest. It looks at your strengths and what you need from people in your environment. And so, one of my business partner's daughter actually worked in a school system and took it
Mhm.
and said, you know what? We need something like this for the kids, because the way they're choosing careers, if you think about it, they're picking what's cool, they're picking what they're pushed into, they're picking, oh, well, this will make the most money. So what we did was we conducted a pilot program to start actually basing their career choices off of their actual personality and what they're interested in, to help them choose something that's going to be more fulfilling for them in a career choice. Because if you take it, like, I'll use myself as an example, it probably wasn't like we were talking about, it probably wasn't until my 30s before I actually realized what I really like to do. And so,
Right.
what we're hoping right out of high school now, because a lot of people have those conversations, they go to college or whatever and say, you know what, this ain't what I thought it was going to be. I need to change majors, or I'm going to take a break for a while. And so, what we're doing is we're helping them get more focused on what fits them and giving them some career choice pathways, if you will, that fit their themselves as a person. And
That's an
hopefully
awesome
they,
concept. That's really great. And what was it
yeah,
called? The Berkman?
Berkman. It's called Berkman, and it's been around for a long time. Dr. Berkman wrote a book a long time ago, but it's, like I said, it's been used in business for a long time. It's an international, we're internationally certified to actually run that assessment.
Hmm.
We can do it in 40, I think it's 42 different languages and all that,
Oh,
but
wow.
it hasn't been really used in with that age group. It's been more focused on businesses, which it works great for. We use that for organizations too, but the our biggest thing on this Case for Kids, which is an after school program for Harris County Department of Education, that's where we've started using it, and we're going to expand from there. It's been very successful. I mean, I met with a student yesterday who's a singer, but is really has the aptitude and business and accounting and numbers. And so, one of the things we discussed is that she loves music, it's one of her high interests, but she's also very detailed and she's going to do well. And one of the things I told her is that one of the cool things about her, if she goes as a singer, which I told her I want front row tickets if that happens, to stay in touch, but she's going to understand the business side of it. And I said, and that's something that's a great strength to have, because now you will understand not just the fact that you're doing something that you love, but you can also do the business part. And that is something you will excel at because it's part of the way her brain is wired, so to speak.
That's awesome.
So,
And I noticed the disc right
mhm.
behind you. So, I mean, I know what disc is, but probably our audience most probably don't. Why don't you go ahead and just explain that a little bit?
Yeah, the disk is another main tool we use, which is, and the reason I've been using disk for a long time, you mentioned I was at NASA for a while. That's where I got introduced to it,
Mm-hmm.
right after I got out the Navy. But it's about communication behavior and what your strengths are. And it's really the reason I like it. It's simple. It only has four quadrants where the DISC is what that stands for, and the D quadrant is people who are very direct, don't need a lot of fluff. Your I quadrants people are people. Your
Mm-hmm.
C's are your detail people, and your S's are kind of your steady folks. So we use that for organizations, really to help teams understand how they communicate, because the thing we find, if you have a person who's very detailed and you have a person who kind of talks a lot and is not very detailed, tell me the big picture, they can clash. And
Right.
what if you look at conflict, not just in the workplace, but just about anywhere, it usually stems from communication, and someone's interpreting something wrong, someone's not
Absolutely.
on the same level. So that's what we use that for. And then for leaders, we have the other one that's called DISC Work of Leaders. And that takes it to a different level because it focuses on three different areas of vision, alignment, and execution. And so if you think about it, with everything that's gone on with COVID and all this, you hear about the great resignation, you hear about, retention issues are all over. It doesn't matter what industry it is. So what we're helping a lot of leaders do is really create that vision for the department or unit or whatever, wherever they work. But the main thing is that alignment piece, getting people on board and passionate for what they do, and then driving that execution of what it is at the end. Because most businesses and what we find, they're pretty good at setting the vision and they're definitely good at executing, but they're wondering why people keep leaving. They buy into the vision, they got the vision, and we're making things happen, but everybody keeps leaving us. It's because that alignment, they're not they're not bought into it. And it's like one of the things in there is about the big picture. And you hear a lot of folks, well, they don't know what I go through. They're not out on the floor with me. They don't.
Right.
And so what it helps them do is communicate that they do understand the big picture, and communicate in a way that they meet in the middle, so to speak, instead of talking way up here and they're down over here on the floor going, you just don't understand. And then, of course, you lose good people that way. So that's where we help with those.
Oh, that's awesome. I remember in my disc training, I remember the one thing I remember is you really don't want to put a C at the front desk of a busy office where they're communicating with people. That's not
Uh,
really the right person to do that with. And
right. But see, like me, I'm a DI in the disc, and they're
mhm,
pretty even. They're very high, but
so am I. Yeah.
and so I need a C on my team. I need someone
Oh,
who's very detailed because
yeah.
I go, and they're like, hang on a second, did you think about this? Oh, yeah, we need to make sure.
Right.
So that's why I always say, if you have a mixture of all the different styles, then you got a really high performing team.
Absolutely. Um, so is there anything that you would like to do that you haven't done? I mean, you've done obviously a whole lot of things. I mean, do you have any other goals that you would like to go after?
You mean as far as business related, or?
Business, personal. I mean, this is about getting to know you and
Mhm.
so yeah.
Yeah, I think it's, we started this endeavor not that long ago, really last year. And
Oh, wow.
so and
Wow,
so
congrats.
thank you. And my goal is to help, as many people as we can along the way. One of the
Mhm.
things, my business partner and me, we decided very early on, we're not going to do this for money. We're going to do
Right.
this to do the right thing. If we do the right thing, money will take care of itself.
I can
And so,
relate. Yeah,
yeah. And
absolutely.
so I think if we can make a difference in people's lives, that is really my goal. Is that, and I've had a few of those when the light bulb or the light comes on, so to speak, and it helps someone uh, move to the next level of doing great things and being successful. That's probably my biggest thing, my goal in that. And then and to create an organization that's large enough to do that for people every day. And I think my goal every day is to try and be a positive influence to someone every single day, to whereas help someone grow. I mean,
That's awesome.
my personal goal is to have the business going to whereas I mean, my wife and I, once we have a freshman in high school, once she graduates, we want to go full time in an RV. We'll keep a condo somewhere, but we want to go. I feel like you described. I've seen the world. I'm ready to see the rest of the country and just go. And I could go to different cities and help people. That would be that's the end goal there, I guess,
Sure.
so to speak.
Oh, that's great. Um, is there a myth about what you do that people believe in your type of business? Because there are people that help others in so many different facets, right? Different consultants, things like that. Is there a myth about that industry or something that you think
I
people have a misconception of?
I think the biggest thing that people struggle with is they think it's just about training, that it's just about, going through a training workshop. We put them through the assessment or we put them through a workshop, but it doesn't end there. It's the reinforcement of the
Mhm.
skills. So one of the things like we do with the work of leaders, we try to create a long-term communication plan so that those skills are reinforced. What I find with a lot of leaders, unfortunately, at the executive level, think, well, we'll put them through a class and they put the check in the block. We've given them the knowledge, they should be fixed now, right? So I think, but having them understand that they need that reinforcement from not only their leadership, but having someone in there to help them create that strategy to keep it going. Because one thing I've seen is a lot of times they'll bring people in like me or anyone for a retreat. They'll run a retreat, someone's
Mhm.
wrote a book or something like that. They go through the retreat, everybody's excited. They go through it in November, and then by January, no one's even talking about what actually happened. So it's that reinforcement. The myth is you can't just give people the knowledge, you've got to give them the reinforcement to develop it into a skill.
Yeah, so it's continuous leadership and
Yes.
continuity. Yeah, yeah, I
Yeah.
totally get that. Um, so here's a question. What question do you wish that I'd asked you?
Huh. That's that's a tough one.
Okay.
Um,
Well, yeah, it's okay. I mean, I asked that of everybody at the end because I want to make sure that I've covered things that you're interested in sharing.
yeah. No, I think um maybe how to get in touch with us. How do they find you or something like that?
Okay, so the name of the company, and I want to make sure and get that in. It's called Easy Leadership, correct?
Yes.
And you're
Yeah.
located. Is it in the Woodlands?
Yeah, well, we're up in Montgomery, which is basically the Woodlands. It's up on Lake Conroe. So yeah.
Okay. I mean, for those people around the country that don't know where that is, that's north of the Houston area, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. And your website is at easyleadership.com.
Yep.
So E and then
It,
Z and then leadership.com.
yep.
Great. Well, Chief or Eddie, I'm not sure what to call you now. I kind of like Chief personally, but
Chief works. That was my name for
okay.
many years. So
Right. Well, we very much appreciate you spending some time with us today and getting to know you a little bit better. Hopefully, we can visit again, and as you develop some of this interaction with, especially the teens, I think that is such an amazing program that you're helping kids out with, and again, we appreciate that.
yeah,
So
no,
hang
I'm
it.
very proud of that part.
Oh yeah, I mean
You know.
that's awesome.